It was 50 days ago. We were all trying to go to sleep, and we got a late-night Woj Bob saying that James Harden had been dealt to L.A., and then none of us could sleep for the rest of the night. It took a minute, but the Clippers, man, they are starting to click here. We're going to pick this one up. James Harden in the fourth quarter. The Clippers up by 19 over the Pacers in this one. Watch. He's already scored 5 consecutive points. James Harden pulls up for 3. All right, that's nice. 8 consecutive points. James Harden for 3 again. Heat check. All right. Now he's up to 11 consecutive points. After a free throw, 12. James Harden once again. Over Buddy Hield, going to work, step back. I mean, that's patented. The bench loves this one. Look at this. One more look here. James Harden. Ooh, that's pretty. Russell Westbrook celebrating. What is it? The cooking? Bones Island with the... And then once again, at this point, this is just silly. James Harden and is fouled. I mean, he's making it rain and doing snow angels for good measure.
And one son.
You know when Kawhi Leonard is loving it, that this is important.
You've done well. You have won.
James Harden letting everybody know. One more look at the bench here, just because this is so great. The Clippers roll 151 to 127. Now, the Clippers are 13-3 since losing those first 5 games that Harden played, with Harden doubling his assist production in this time. And I've asked you this question on the show before, but as LA's win streak keeps growing, I need to get a status update. Chiney, are you ready to believe in the Clippers as title contenders?
Look, we love the game of basketball. We're here for beautiful basketball. We're here for redemption stories. And I think, Malika, you and I are going to do it.
We're doing it.
We're back on the Clippers.
We're back in, baby.
We believe they're contenders. We feel like this is their shot. They can make it multiple rounds if this is what we continue to see. I mean, their big 3 dropped 90. James Harden, heavily criticized, but now paying the dividends of all of those movements and motions. I mean, not only has he been great facilitating, but now we're getting these vintage games. Did you know that the last time he's made this many threes, was it 8?
Yep.
2019, when he was wearing my favorite jersey, the Houston Rockets. They've got the coach. They've got the rotation.
Yep.
Should I say the quiet thing out loud? It looks like they've got health. I'm going to lean in and just say this is the time that I'm going in with the Clippers again. And it's okay. If I get my heart broken, that's what happens. That's life.
Zach, are you going in? Are you ready?
I've been hurt before. I've been hurt. Not sure I'm ready to love again after all the pain that I've had caused by the Clippers, okay? But I'll tell you this right now. Fifth in net rating in overall for the whole season, 5th. Second since that 5-game losing streak that started the Harden era. They are humming, and those numbers say, yes, they are contenders. Now, here's the caveat. Number 1, they finally beat Denver for the first time in what feels like 25 years. Denver is still levitating above everyone else as the most complete team in the West and the favorite to come out of the conference. But if you ask the Clippers, and frankly, if you ask probably anyone really paying attention to the West, who's the second best team in terms of playoff equity, proven playoff accomplishments, or who's the only other team that the Clippers should at least fear as a playoff opponent? And that's Denver. Other than that, it's pretty open, and the Clippers would be justified puffing out their chest and saying, why can't we claim that number 2 spot? But it's still the number 2 spot, not the number 1 spot. And the other caveat is adversity's coming. We don't know what form that adversity is going to take, a slump, an injury, something. That's going to be the ultimate test for James Harden and this team. How do they bounce back when the honeymoon ends and adversity hits them in the face? Because it's coming. But this team is really good, and they're humming, and it's really Denver and everybody else right now, and they're right at the top of everybody else.
They got a lot going for them. They got a great coach. They have a great supporting cast. They have a bunch of bathrooms in their new arena.
And urinals.
The reason that they are a serious contender right now is because of Kawhi.
Yep.
Kawhi is playing like the guy we saw in 2019. He's playing like the guy we saw in 2014. This is MVP finals level Kawhi. If this stays this way, it's all on the table. Period. I don't know if it will. I don't have a glass ball. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know when Kawhi is playing like this, when his legs have this much life, when his interior and outside scoring is this effective, when his confidence is this strong, when he's got that look on his face and that light in his eyes, anything is possible, and that's what's happening.
11 straight games. That's tied with Shaq in 2000, 2001, and Moses Malone in 81, 82 for the longest streaks since the merger. Embiid, he's done his work early, right? He scored 89% of his points this season before the fourth quarter. That is the highest percentage in a player's first 23 games in the play-by-play era. And Embiid now has more points than minutes played this season, which is big. We always are talking about his health. Only one qualified player has ever done that for full season. It was Wilt Chamberlain in 61-62, and he scored over 50 points per game in 48.5 minutes. Now, Joel Embiid, he spoke to our NBA reporter Tim Bontemps to talk about how the Sixers have taken a step forward here. Take a listen.
You can't win, with the ball sticking and playing ISO basketball. And you got to have movement. You got to have, obviously, for that to happen, you got to have the right players to play with that type of system. And the ball's just got to move. And you can see it. It's so much fun. It's not just about scoring. Like, you passing the ball, guys are making shots, the ball is moving, everybody's happy, it's fun.
You can't win with the ball sticking playing ISO basketball. Now, we can talk about whether or not we think that's a shot maybe at one of his former teammates, but we won't for now. Instead, I'll ask you this, Zach Lowe. Is this Joel's best chance at winning a title in your mind?
That's hard to say at this point because last year they were up 3-2 in the conference semifinals and probably would have been favored in the next round. 2019, they go to Game 7 with the Raptors. You have the Kawhi shot. That's the Jimmy Butler team. Those two teams were the two best teams of the Joel Embiid era. This team has a chance to get there because this is the best we've ever seen Joel Embiid play. What he's doing should frankly be illegal. They shouldn't even let him play against the Wizards and the Pistons and the Hornets because it's not fair and it's mean to those teams. And Maxey is right there with him as a second star. But there are nights, like last night against Chicago, where you feel that need for a third guy to really step up when teams are pressuring Maxey, taking the ball out of his hands. Can Tobias Harris be that guy? Did he need to go out and find some other rotation guy? But this is a really, really good team, and they're absolutely a threat to get out of the East or at least get somewhere where the Sixers have not been, the conference finals.
This is the conversation about the Sixers. We know Embiid's awesome. We know Tyrese Maxey is maybe the most improved player. They've got 4 tradable first-round picks. They've got over $100 million in expiring contracts. They have none of the other teams in the sort of championship contender tier, depending on whether you want to put Oklahoma City in that or not, who can match them in terms of bidding. And they have a general manager, president, in Daryl Morey, who is an expert in midseason trades.
Yep.
So what you want to see from Philly is action in February. And then you can evaluate where they are. Right now, they're a cut below Boston. But let's see what happens after Daryl Morey gets done working on this roster with all that he's got to work with after the Harden trade.
And one thing I love about that idea is that Joel Embiid has created a cheat code for himself. It's no longer, oh, who's the problem? It's like, I'm the solution here, and it's applying pressure on everyone. He is a 3-level scorer. He is load managing himself by scoring a lot of his points in the first 3 quarters of a game. He is being a professional. He's bringing his players along the way. He is telling you exactly what he... This is like not the Joel Embiid we knew when he first came into the league. Like, no more jokes. It's about business. He's standing on his business. Sorry, Perk. And the consequence of that is now the pressure is off of him. The pressure is on everyone around him to level up their game, to show that they belong in this organization, and also to make sure that, hey, I stayed through this process. Now it's on you. I've done everything that you've asked of me.
And one thing is nuanced. Zach just said something important. He said they need a third player. Well, when they went into the Harden situation, we heard them, they need a replacement for Harden. They need a number 2. Maxey's been so good that they don't have to look for number 2 anymore. They need to look for that number 3. Maxey is their bona fide number 2. No one's doubting that. It's easier to get a 3. In fact, they've got so much to trade. I think they can probably make 2 separate deals and add 2 pieces, if not more, to this roster. Now, just saying it is different from executing it, but they are not only a contender, they have the most upward mobility of all the contenders within this season.
Particularly because this was supposed to be a gap year, right, for the 76ers. Everyone would have understood if in the wake of the James Harden trade, they needed a little bit of time here to reconfigure and figure out what their identity was. Because of Tyrese Maxey, they haven't necessarily had to take that gap year. And now, because of all those assets, they are poised to really make a next step here, particularly when you mentioned the Celtics, but we're not really ready to put anybody else firmly above the 76ers, particularly if they make those moves in the Eastern Conference. We're going to get to see the 76ers on Christmas Day, along with a whole bunch of teams. Look, their presence under the tree, 5 star-studded games on ESPN and ABC. NBA Countdown is going to kick off our coverage.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA on the ESPN.